Let's come back to this one. The president Ghana never got.
Yes.
Why that title?
If Akufo-Addo had died without becoming president, like J.B. Dankwa and others, his tribute would have been replete with that statement that this is the visionary leader who would have transformed Ghana. Unfortunately, we didn't get him. That is what many would have said, perhaps including myself. When he became president, the Akufo-Addo that we were marketed to, we didn't get him as president. Yes. So that is where the title is coming from.
Are you peeved? I see people write that you were one of the people who, campaigned seriously for him or against the Mahama administration, and so you virtually were one of those responsible for birthing the president. I'm sure that you were looking for that president, and so it appears that a lot of things that you say are born out of a certain level of disappointment.
You are very right. I said in the 4th John, and I think I repeated a bit of it here, that in 2012, I voted for President Mahama because I liked him. But by 2016, I felt he didn't deserve to be re-elected. So the MPP campaigned on the stories I did. I did those stories because I was a journalist. I'll do them again if I had the opportunity. Then they capitalized on that. But I personally convinced a few people that I could to vote for Akufo-Addo because I felt Ghana needed someone. And we were told he was incorruptible, no nonsense, all the accolades that we needed to have as someone to be at the Jubilee House and restore sanity in our body politic. I thought I saw that in Akufo-Addo. When he became president, I didn't see that. And I'm very disappointed, and I have lost faith in our democracy.
Really?
Not democracy as a whole, but Ghana's democracy because of Akufo-Addo. So to say that I'm disappointed is an understatement.
So in coming up with this book, in the 4th John, you've told us that you spoke with President Mahama.
Yes.
This one, did you get the opportunity of speaking with President Akufo-Addo to also tell him about how disappointed you were, and perhaps to get his response or his reaction on that?
No, and this is the explanation. I spoke to a number of people, including his cousin Gabi Asaroch-Daku, who was gracious enough to allow me to have over 2 hours of recorded interview with him. So I asked all the questions I thought I could ask concerning the president, the family, and the government.
But why did you have to speak with Gabi instead of the president?
So I'm coming to that.
Right.
As a journalist, we have our sources.
Yes.
Sometimes if I have to speak to Randy and I know that it's positive that Randy will speak to me, sometimes you go through people around him or at least glean. So I got the feeler that he may not, or he wasn't willing to speak to me. So I decided to cross all the T's and dot all the I's that I could from Gabi. But after that interview, I mentioned to Gabi that I wanted to speak to the president. Would he be open to me? And Gabi said, well, I don't think so.
Why?
I said, why? He said, oh, he thinks you've been mean to him.
The president thinks you've been mean
to him, yes. And I said, well, but even Mahama, I did similar works under Mahama, but he spoke to me. He said, well, there are different personalities and people may choose to react differently. This is what Gabi said. So it confirmed my sources' intel that I wasn't going to be lucky. Fortunately, I spoke to Gabi. I also spoke to some ministers of state and others. But very much later, I decided to, I didn't even tell Gabi, go through the lawyer of the president, Koisuman, to find out whether there was a chance to get an interview with the president, because I was writing a book about his administration. And he said, well, he would advise that the best person to go through was Gabi.
That's what Kwesuma told you?
Yes. So I went through Gabi.
Again,
and Gabi said I should write to him first. And looking at the timelines, I didn't think it was going to be feasible. So I just abandoned the idea.
Okay.
So that is the story behind whether or not I spoke to the president.
Okay. So
but I've invited him to the lunch.
You invited the president?
Yes.
Okay. What is this book going to tell us?
This book is going to tell you about how Ghana has been governed under the Akufo-Addo presidency. Whether or not Akufo-Addo knew or knows about some of the rots that happens under him. What decisions goes or what goes into some of the appointments he makes. There's an interesting story about how a Supreme Court judge was selected. There were issues surrounding the selection of that Supreme Court judge who was yanked from a political platform to the High Court in less than 2 years, elevated to the Supreme Court. But there's a very interesting story behind that. Even the parliament, how it works, the NDC, how they were able to get Bagwin elected. I got information about some money from Jubilee House to the Appointments Committee. And MPs confirmed this on record. Muntaka and Joe Wise confirmed this. So there are a lot of issues. And I also spoke to the woman who alleged, the MP, that a Supreme Court judge called to convince her to vote for Michael Quay instead of Bagwin. So a lot. Inside the Akufo-Addo presidency, corruption scandals, how institutions are systematically undermined under this administration, media freedom. So there's so much. And I was fortunate to get interviews. Some spoke on record. They wanted me to record them, like Gabi and Akomia and others. But others, too, for certain reasons, would give you information.
Did you speak with the vice president?
No.
Any reason?
Well, I think he said, I think he was busy, but I spoke to certain sources close to him.
What's the most important part of this book? Which part of this book will we find very riveting?
There's a title or a chapter titled When Prime Minister Gabi Called a Bank Manager.
When Prime Minister Gabi called a bank manager.
Yes.
And what is that one about?
It's about influence that the president's family is alleged to wield. So I asked him and he didn't deny.
He didn't deny?
He didn't deny.
Okay.
He told me how he exercises or uses that influence and how he benefits from it. And I found that revealing.
How he benefits from it?
Yes.
Financially?
Yes.
Okay. And that's titled what?
When Prime Minister Gabi
Yes.
called a bank manager.
Okay. All right. So it's happening today?
Yes.
Christ the King Parish Hall?
Yes.
Okay.
At 5 p.m.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that something about you and the Christ the King Parish Hall? It looks like that's your preferred venue. Or is this proximity to the Jubilee House?
No, it is central.
Okay.
And I'm also someone who is a bit conservative.
Okay.
If I meet you and I like you,
Yes.
I'll stick to you forever.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you Catholic?
I'm a Presbyterian.
Presbyterian?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So 5 p.m.
Yes.
Today?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. So I'm sure that we'll all be there. And from tomorrow, we'll get a lot more about this book. But thank you. And for one thing, you said it earlier on, we don't document, we don't write, I've been doing this thing for 27 years. I haven't done any such thing. So I'd like to congratulate you, for this one. And we hope to speak on some other issues. No, before I go, SML. Is SML in the book?
Yes.
It's in the book?
The mother of all scandals.
That's how you label it?
Yes, that's what Kwesi Price said on your show. I listened.
But you are aware that we read reports that they are
bringing some aspect of it back.
Yes.
which is part of the impunity of the administration.
Okay.
It is a typical way of this notion of Ajapadie. Even if Ajapadie is fiction, and I've said it in this book, the manner
so Ajapadie is featured in your book?
Yes.
Okay.
Ajapadie and Ajapa.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is featured as a chapter.
Okay.
Somebody just gets up and decides that, look, if Randy, if anybody in this country buys fuel anywhere in this country, a percentage should go to SML. If we produce gold in this country, every ounce of gold that we produce in this country, a percentage should go to SML. Every liter of fuel, petroleum product we produce in Ghana, a percentage should go to SML. So if people like Ochihini are angry about the document, I understand their anger. But they should be more concerned about deals like this, which Ken Ofori-Atta is behind. And
he is behind SML.
The extension of the contract to all these outrageous sectors and the monies. There was a document from the Ministry of Finance, and it said the minister had determined, the minister was Ken Ofori-Atta, and he determined this without consulting the sector agencies. Minerals Commission wasn't aware, Petroleum Commission, and all the sector ministries were not aware. He just determined. And I think this is obscene and outrageous. And I said on the Bole's show that he asked my view. I'm disappointed about the political system, but he asked, okay, so going forward, what do I think? And I said that, look, if for nothing at all, we need change for some level of accountability. And I expect to hear people like Baumia talk about SML, because I think it is that bad. And we can't continue this way as a country. Some of the things that we do as journalists, I feel pained. And there was a time I had to go for therapy, the clinical psychologist.
Whoa.
Yes. Death threats and all of these things. So me going out of this country was a recommendation from that clinical psychologist that I take a break.
Wow.
So it is not something we... So when I say I'm disappointed about this administration, I get angry about things like this. When people are dying at the dialysis unit because at the point it was closed down because of 4 million cedis. Yes. But the allocation to SML in the oil production sector, they are making like $120,000 a single day of production. As per that contract, if it goes through. And that's like close to 4 million cedis that a company is giving a day, just from a component of his contract. And people are dying. So when you see all of these things and then you're a Ghanaian, you find it difficult not to get emotional and angry about how this country is run.
So who are you voting for in the election?
You'll find that in the book.
It's in the book?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So see you at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
At the Christ the King Parish Hall. And well done on this as well.
Thank you.